to start. As you heard from the very friendly Zoom voice, we have now started the recording. So thanks for attending. For today, we don't have a well-defined agenda, meaning that there is no pre-scheduled topics to discuss for today. So it's going to be a more open agenda, meaning that feel free to propose the topic you would like to discuss, and we'll build the agenda during the meeting. So if you have any topic you would like to bring up, please come forward. Antonin, perhaps shall we provide a brief update on the release status?
Which release, the last one or the next one?
I mean, if you want to have a post-mortem of the last release, that would be great. Otherwise, I was more I was more thinking discussing the status of the release we are working on at the moment.
Sure, but I have to wait. I have to take a look. I don't even know what the planned release date is out of the top of my head. So all right. So I have it as February 10th, 2021 for the 0.13 release. I'm not aware of any major feature that we have scheduled for that release, but maybe I'm missing something. I know that we have been working on the node port local feature, which is gonna facilitate integration with external load balancers. I know that we're planning to support endpoint slices in the Antrea proxy implementation, and I believe we're planning to actually, one major change for 0.13 is that we're planning to support running Antrea in a Kubernetes cluster without using kubeproxy at all. So Antrea proxy will be able to implement node port. I believe those are the major things for 0.13.
Perfect. Yep. Yeah, cool. So thanks for the update. And after we had the meeting, I think it was on December the 8th, the meeting where the team from Intel presented their plan around CNF integration. Has there been any follow-up since then?
I don't think so. They're still supposed to come in and do a demo of what they've implemented. But I guess with the break and everything, things have been postponed a bit. I'm hoping we can do that at the next community meeting, but I don't see them in the Zoom meeting right now.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so we'll keep waiting for the next community meeting. Perfect. And I don't really have many updates on my side. You know that the Antrea operator for Kubernetes that Roy has been mostly working on has been published, I would say, I think a few days before the Christmas break, and it is in a different repository. It's not part of the main Antrea repository. And that thing, even if it's open source, it's however not part of it's part of a different GitHub org. It's part of the VMware GitHub org, not the VMware dash hyphen Tanzu GitHub org. At the moment, let's say that thing is mostly tailored for deploying Antrea and OpenShift, but there is a plan that probably Ray will present at the next community meeting for running the operator with any Kubernetes distribution. So it is something that anyway you can easily try out. The Roy prepared a very good documentation for getting it up and running, and we should be ready, I believe, very soon also with automation for pushing the container image for the operator to the Antrea Docker Hub, and also for releasing the operator image itself. Anyway, so that's about the operator. And anything else to bring up for today? Any bug you would like to discuss? Anything that's annoying you? Documentation improvements?
So talking about 0.13, probably I can add a few other potential items might be in.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, probably we are still working on basically Abhishek and Young and the other folks are still working on some net policy enhancements. I think we have a group of new features to be in 0.16. 0.16, sorry, like the group CRD or namespace level label. And maybe we can have service group stats per rule. Probably not all of these features, but we definitely get some new features for that policy. And then I think we plan to do IPv6 trace flow too. And on Windows, probably there'll be some enhancements too. For example, to support container D. I think that one is important for us to support some Kubernetes distributions like TKG. And you know, Google guys are working together with us to evaluating Antrea for Windows for GKE. We made some progress before the holidays. I believe Google guys are able to run Antrea GKE with Windows already. But they want to support low income mode. I think Ray had a workaround PR for that. So maybe we can polish that PR and officially support low income mode for Windows, and GKE can leverage that. Yeah, some other items in memory.
Thanks a lot for the update, Jianjun. Is there any comment on this? Any follow-up? Perfect. So, well, this was yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
The
go ahead.
last one for the IPAM thing. Hopefully we'll have this discussion with Avalon guys, right? And maybe we can make some progress too.
Yeah, we can finally figure out what exactly we are supposed to support with IPAM. That's right. And I don't think that IPAM enhancements are a reasonable target for 0.13 unless it turns out that what we needed to do is simply have an equivalent support of I mean, doing what the host local plugin does, but without running the node IPAM controller. If that's just that we need to do, it's going to be relatively easy, and we can implement it in 0.13. But the feeling is that we might need a slightly more complex solution, and therefore I don't believe that this is going to be something that we can target with 0.13. But as you said, we'll soon figure out exactly what we need to do.
Yep.
Perfect. So
and Jensen, regarding Windows support, since you mentioned the containerd support on Windows, I believe the two other things that came up were no encap mode on Windows and and support for Windows without the Hyper-V dependency. All those things like also in the 0.13 timeline, or all those items going to take more time? I guess the Hyper-V one is going to take a long time, but I think you guys had a prototype for no encap mode on Windows.
Yeah, I think Ray is here. Maybe Ray can provide more details. think you have a workaround PR. I call it workaround, but maybe it can be the final solution too for the low-income mode. And of course, you can get more information on container detail.
Okay.
Ray, do you want to?
Yeah. So for the no-income support, currently we have a workaround because there are some issue in OVS. So for the final solution, we need the fix from the upstream OVS to fix one CT triangle issue. So before that, we just we must need the workaround for the no-income mode.
But even with the workaround, at least I don't see any big issue, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes, I think there won't be some big issue.
So we do believe that can be one temporary solution that can be merged. All right.
I think we need some more tests
I see.
on it. Yeah, because there are some change for the flow and the interface config. I have to have a double check.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the no-income support.
And for container DIOtion, we also target for 0.6 setting, right?
Yeah, I'm trying for this release. But in this release, we will only also support the workaround for it, because currently we have no proper way to work with the container D. So we must need the workaround.
Got it.
And for Hyper-V, running on Windows without Hyper-V, is there any plan to do that?
For the upstream,
go ahead with
for the upstream Hyper-V disablement, I think we have to depend on the upstream OVS to do some change to support the Hyper-V disablement. We have already talked with Windows OS developer Jin Jun, who is in VMware, and he has already agreed to currently I have not the accurate timeline to really have this change in upstream OVS, but hopefully it will be ready by middle of this year.
Okay, thanks.
I think we talked about another one for this release. I think we talked about the possibility to release 0.1 version, right? Do you want to talk about this? I'm not sure everyone know about this. So you think we still need more discussion on that one? I thought we have a plan to release 0.1 from basically 0.613 can be 0.1, right?
I think maybe 13 or 14.
I see.
Yeah.
I think we should something we didn't discuss for 0.13, but especially if we want to do 0.1 soon, is I think we should introduce the new API, the API names that we've discussed previously, transition from VMware Tanzu to Antrea.io. Personally, I'd rather do that for 0.13 and then make 0.14 be 1.0. I think having a release of buffer, since this is a big change, would be nice.
Then if we believe we want to do 0.1 in 0.14, I mean, the release after 0.613, according to you, we must do the API change in 0.613.
Yeah, that's something we didn't bring up earlier, but yeah, I think we should try to do the API change as soon as possible.
Chen, do you see any issue for that, or you think we can do that in 0.13?
Not yet. I think just maybe we need to replicate some code, especially in the registry module, the registry package. But I don't think there is a hard problem for the change.
Okay. Actually, I don't know. We have discussed this 0.1 plan before or not in committee meeting. If not, probably we should first ask anyone have any concerns or other ideas, whatever.
Okay. Is there any more question on this topic? Okay. And Antoine, I noticed your message on the chat. Is this something that we should discuss in the community meeting, or is just
No, it's just like we just discussed two items, right? The API renaming to use Antrea.io as a domain name, and our intent to release Antrea 1.0 early this year. I think we should open GitHub issues for that, so we can continue the discussion online and on Slack as well.
Yes, makes sense. That makes sense. It's a good proposal. Okay, so I think that we discussed quite a good number of topics for today. Is there anything else that might make sense to bring up for today? I will wait 20 seconds for any other topic to come up. All right, since we have a few minutes to spare, I will bring up a community meeting topic. As you know from the Slack channel, we have been discussing the idea of having an Antrea office hours meeting to be held in the Pacific time afternoon, bi-weekly, just like the Antrea community meeting. The idea will probably to have it in each other week. We will have either the community meeting or the office hours meeting. In my opinion, this meeting should not be let's say, a second version of the Antrea community meeting, meaning that the Antrea office hours meeting should have a deliberately open agenda, allowing community members, even new starters, newcomers, to ask questions about Antrea, both as developers and as users. And it should also be a forum for discussing open issues, for discussing if you prefer implementation choices, a more, let's say, a more interactive meeting rather than the community meeting, where the pattern is normally that we have a predefined agenda of presentations, and there would be a presenter, and then there would be questions about the presentation. So in my understanding, there is not an official process in the, let's say, in the Kubernetes ecosystem to start an office hours meeting. So all we have to do is set up the Zoom call, add something about it to our README in the GitHub repo, and then that should be it. So Is there any feedback on this idea? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think we should do it differently? Or do you just like the idea of having an additional meeting? I know I know probably you already have too many meetings in your daily agenda, but you know, the Antrea community meeting is set at a time which is not really comfortable for many people, especially those based in the US, and probably we need a forum apart from Slack for discussing day-to-day project matters. What is your feeling on this idea?
Well, I like the idea, but if it's the idea is to have something that's different from community meeting and really like something like office hours. So does that just mean that we need to make sure that those office hours are going to be staffed every time by like 2 or 3 people, which are who are familiar with Antrea, and then we're ready to take questions about the project, how to use it, how to contribute to it, and maybe
So
be a
that's
place
the
where you can
idea.
also discuss new ideas before breaking them to the community meeting.
That's right. That's right. So that's the typical style of these office hours meeting, where typically you have, as you said, 2 or 3 subject matter experts on the call that are ready to address all the sort of questions that might come. You know, either it could be architectural, it could be questions about the implementation, it could be questions about documentation. So it would be better to have as many experts as possible on the call. That's why it's a different style from the community meeting. And if we don't think this is the right approach, we will, and I have been proposing an office hours meeting, because that's typically what most projects in the Kubernetes ecosystem have. They have a community meeting and an office hours meeting. But if we don't believe this is the right format, then we will reconsider whether adding a second community meeting in, let's say, a US friendly time zone, and therefore the community meeting will move from bi-weekly to weekly, or whether reconsider the idea of having an alternating bi-weekly meeting. So for instance, it would be one instance, it could be at 4 a.m. GMT, and the other instance could be at 9 p.m. GMT, which should be 1 p.m. Pacific time. So this is the choice that we really need to make, whether we want to have a different format or whether we want to have the same format at a different time. I'm aware probably you don't have the answer ready right now, or if you have feedback, please share it. If you don't have feedback right now, it's completely understandable, and please share it on Slack.
I definitely like the idea of the office hours. And I think that either that or having a weekly community meeting with a US friendly time zone and this time zone working, that the moving every meeting, having it be a rotating time is just more confusing, I think, and people may miss the meeting with a rotating time though. So I think that either 2 community meetings or the preferably the office hours, I think would work the best from my side.
Thanks for the feedback, Scott. It's indeed the choice that we made when we moved the community meeting to the current timing. We held a survey, and the option of using this a single time slot was preferred over the option of having a rotating time meeting. Personally, I agree with you. If we go to a rotating meeting, I will be probably the first to miss some meetings. It's kind of common. Anyway, so please let us know your feedback on Slack, as we would like to get started probably with this office hour meeting starting next week, if possible, or in 2 weeks' time at most, so that we can also, address this, since we've been discussing about this for about a month now. All right, so that's all I had to say about the community meeting. Is there any other topic that we'd like to discuss? Otherwise, we can close this meeting earlier for this instance and give everyone back 30 minutes of their days or their evenings for our friends in Palo Alto and California. All right, it seems that therefore that's all for today. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I would like to wish everyone again a great start, a great 2021, and thanks again for joining this meeting. And I will talk to you. We will talk again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, and have a good one.